looking into a capability where I want to build a portal that's going to contain designer elements. So let me run it. So I've got a bunch of designer tabs in here, got a bunch of reports, and actually I want to add a HTML page that is created using WebFOCUS Application Studio. To do so, actually, I already have some content. So in my content folder, there's a report that I like to use. So that's my transaction by age and MCC. So straightforward designer report. So that's created in Designer. I can open it up. So it's a designer report with a bunch of filters included in here. So straightforward to use. So I don't want to build a designer HTML page or a designer page. So in this case, I want to build something in my application studio. So I got the content, create a new folder, name that one studio. And in that folder, we're now going to place a new HTML page. Going to build a basic page here. Select next, go with all the defaults in here. So actually, I now want to include that element in here. So first step is go to requests and data sources and external request, WebFOCUS procedure. Go to my content. Remember, it's my transactions by age and MCC. So I'm going to go for my transactions by age and MCC. I can preview it here or not. It doesn't matter. Select OK. I get a warning in here because it's a page created by designer. You can ignore that warning. It's nothing else than a warning. So now I got all the variables that are relevant in that report. So they're visible in here. So now I could build single controls, or easier, I can just drag and drop that element onto my page. It's going to create all the controls that are needed. So of course, I can move things around, rearrange my elements, do whatever I want to. Of course, we can simply run it now. Of course, I can format whatever is in here. So we can go for something like my age range, run the report. We have what we need in here. So I can design it the way I want it to be designed. So relatively straightforward. I can do whatever design I want to, but actually I don't want that report to run live. So I can now get rid of the run button in here. I'm going to keep the reset button. I could keep the report caster button as well if I want to. And for sure, I'm going to keep the button for my run deferred mode. So if I run it now, we remove the run capability. Resize it. We got all the capabilities in here, so we can select those 3 age groups in here. Again, feel free to change and improve the design of that page in here. So now that we removed the run button, we only have run deferred. And now we see, hey, I get the run deferred information, and there's the run deferred message, and here's the status page. So in here, I can see it was started right now, and I can look into that result set in here. Straightforward. I can also, of course, copy that URL in here. So let's go for the URL, keep it. I like that page. So again, you might want to make it look nicer, change the controls, move them around. Actually, get rid of that one. So of course, you could improve the design of those elements. So make them slightly bigger, make that one slightly bigger. rearrange the elements, change it the way you want it to be changed. So feel free to design it as you want to, but we're going to keep it now and save it into that folder. So that's my deferred page. Just save it as deferred page. Gotta keep it in here, go back over here. So here's what we just created. So that's my folder. So I put that one under content. I put it into that studio folder. So let me publish that one. So let it open it up. There's my deferred elements. I'm going to keep that one. Got a bunch of additional information in here. So I might want to add a new element in here. Remember, we copied that URL. So I'm going to go to other, going to go to URL. And remember, that's our deferred page in here. So actually, let me put it in here. It's easier to read. So it's going to be deferred. That's the URL. So we're going to go for that one, put it in here, hit OK. There we go. So we created that link. So let's publish it. Let's run it in a new window. There we go. So we got our deferred. By the way, that deferred is also visible in the product. So we can click here and view your deferred report. But actually what I want to achieve in here is I want to use that deferred on a designer page. So let's go to the pages and let's create a deferred page. Let's assemble visualization in here. So let's create a blank page. And the only thing I'm going to add in here actually is I'm going to go to my studio folder and I'm going to put my deferred page into here. So let's max the size. So we got all the elements in here. Or actually, you could also, of course, change it. So make it smaller. So put it somewhere over here. So again, there's a bunch of things you could do to make it look nicer, straightforward. So that's my container in here. I could, of course, change that one to be a carousel container. So I got the carousel capability. So now we're going to pick up my deferred, drag and drop it in here as well, and add the content to my carousel. So I have now those two buttons that I can use to navigate. I can now again decide I don't want to see the title in here. I can go to the heading and display or hide the heading as well. So let's save that one. So that's my new deferred page. So there's my portal. So I'm going to go back to my portal 2, go to the more section, and in here, I'm going to add a shortcut to my content pages, to my new deferred page that we just created, put it in here. Sorry. So we're going to go over here. There's my portal. Oops, let me just rerun it. Go to more. There's my new deferred page. Here's my content. So I can work with whatever I want to in here. So let's go for that one. Hit the submit. I get my deferred output. I can hit OK to send it. Hit send. I can close that one. There we go. And you see, it was just created. So straightforward to see that we get it. Of course, let me change it. Let's pick those two. Let's run it in deferred mode again. Let's change the description. Okay. It's done. I can put it in here. I can go to that element. In here, we can refresh. There we go. It's done. I can now in here view it and see what we just scheduled. So straightforward. Of course, I could make that page look nicer because I don't need that placeholder in here. So of course, we could go back to AppStudio now. I don't need that one. So I can resize it, make it smaller. I could also from here take it, go to the properties of the elements. So if I go to the properties, there's my element. So I could, of course, select I want to make it visible or not visible. So I can change the sizes. I can move it out of sight. So whatever I want to. So let's keep it in here, put it somewhere in the corner. So now I have some more space in here. So we can move things around. So I can make it as nice as I want to. So I'm just selecting whatever is relevant on that page. So let me select a few elements on that page. By the way, if you don't like that border here, you can delete the container, which is only going to delete the container and the buttons, of course. So I have to reinsert the buttons now, or actually I can revert it back, get me back the container because those are bound to the container. So we get those two elements so I can move around, change it as I want to. So let's make it look nicer. So I'll move that one down here as well. Change the controls, of course. So I've got a bunch of things in here that I want to change as well. So there's my age components. Let's move them down. Pick them from here. Pick the both for age. Make them bigger. So quite easy to rearrange things. So change that one. So there's my element. You could, of course, change the controls here as well. So we're going to go for radio buttons or whatever I want to get here. Checkboxes, radio buttons, whatever I like. Build my design the way I want it. So let me pick them here as well and move them over here as well. So get the two controls from here. Those, get those two. So make them bigger as well. So quite easy. So I don't like those. So let's make them bigger. I can change the buttons, of course. So we got a few in here. So let's now make sure to move it back over here. Oops, we lost you. So I'll get you back over here. Save it again. So we can now refresh here. Of course, you can also refresh the live version. So I'm going to go back here, refresh it. There we go. We got our deferred elements. I can run my elements in here. So let me run it in deferred mode again. So select a few things, run it in deferred mode, put it somewhere. So easy and straightforward to build your own pages in Application Studio and combine them. And again, easy to incorporate the deferred report status on your portal pages wherever you want to have it. So that's actually it in here. Of course, you could go into tools and get information from here as well. So straightforward to get a deferred report on your page. Thank you for joining.